History is not just something we read about. Sometimes it's a place we can stand in, feel, and never forget. As the waves of the Atlantic Ocean crashes against the shore of Accra, Osu Castle stands silently holding centuries of stories within its walls. The stones have witnessed pain, struggle, hope, and freedom. They have seen generations come and go. The men, the women whose courage helped shape the nation we see today. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We are back in Ghana. I should have left this country by now, but there's a lot of things happening, and we are currently at the Osu Castle. So this is the history about Ghana, and slave trade and our forefathers here. So, before they were colonized by the British. I think I know so much about history right now, and I feel very cool myself. But let's get into the video. The history is crazy. You guys are about to find out. So
Have you noticed that? Oh, Holy Spirit, thank you. Have you noticed that different things in the world are just to turn people against each other?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Men versus men,
Men,
men versus women, black versus white.
Yeah.
Especially the men versus women.
Even cultural groups versus cultural groups.
Yeah.
Because unity, people, the devil can't stand
Unity.
It
Even in marriages, have you seen how it aside challenging marriages like feminism and a lot of other things? Do you know that there was a particular sermon I saw by a pastor that why didn't the devil come and tempt Adam when it was just Adam? Why did he tempt when it was Adam and Eve? Because as at that time, God saw that Adam could not be alone.
Yeah.
So he brought out of Adam to make two become one. Because all from the start, it was always one
person,
union.
Yeah, true.
So now, he now came. So now the woman was now seen as a, liability, because he was not able to target a part of the one.
Yeah.
So that's how the
Shoma
devil was
deep,
able
man. Come on, yeah. All right, it's raining out here, and it's crazy. This would be like the most ridiculous decision I've made, because I am actually vlogging under the rain, and the rain is quite heavy. But
welcome to the Christian Castle, also known as Osu Castle. This very castle was built by the Danes in the year 1661. The Danes, people from Denmark. It was named after a king from Denmark called King Christian IV. It was called Christianborg, but it was a Christian fortress also. Before the Danes would visit this very land, all the Europeans were already there. The Portuguese were already here. They were the first to visit this very land in the year 1471. They built the first castle, which was the original castle, in the year 1482. The main reasons why they all built the various castles were for three main purposes. First was to serve as a residence. Secondly, they were also using the castle as a marketplace. It was a barter trade for gold and ivory in exchange of their gunpowder, tobacco, mirror, clothing, and all that. Lastly, they were also using the castle as a storage facility. In the 1600s, there was an influx in the production of sugar cane for sugar in the Caribbean countries, so they had to come to Africa to search for human labor. That was how the whole state of social started. This very castle was also used for slave trade. Before when the castle was built, it was just a small castle. So later when the slave trade was introduced, they quadrupled the size of the castle. The castle had 12 dungeons. We're going over there, which contains both the male and the female dungeon also. The longest period a slave was being kept in a dungeon was 6 months.
Longest time?
Yes, longest time. So 6 months, the ship had arrived. Yes. So normally it takes the ship right from this very land to Denmark 3 months, then right from Denmark back to this very land. So that's why you say 6 months in total. Yes, but there could be an instance where a slave can be in the dungeon for a month, 2 months. The longest was 6 months. 6 months because that means at the time you're being bought by a slave master, meaning ship just left. So that means you have to stay here for 6 months because your ship will get to Denmark 3 months, then 3 months back to this very land also. Okay. But before slave trade would be introduced in this very land, slavery was already going on. The slave trade was going on before Africa. We never had countries, so it was ethnic groups. In Ghana, currently, you have more than 80 ethnic groups. Wow. About 5 you. You have the Muli Dagbani, you have the Khan, you have the Gandango, you have the Ewo, you have the Guans. The Muli Dagbani are usually from the northern parts. They're usually Muslims, were the first colonized by the Arabs. The slave trade was going on in the various castles with all different treatment altogether. So when the Europeans came, they realized they were not one people, already divided, fighting among each other, lands and territories. In as much as we say that there were other sources of how the slave masters bought the slaves, But the locals also selling the slaves to the Europeans was one of the major sources of how they got the slaves. Because the locals were selling the slaves to the Europeans in exchange of the gun and gunpowders. Because when they get a gun and gunpowder, that gives them greater advantage to look to fight for their wars. To win more, wars, they to get more captives to sell it to the same Europeans. So normally when the locals bring the slaves into the castle for the days to buy them, first of all, the slaves have been stripped out naked. They are laid out over here and they've been stripped out naked because these are captives from wars. So there could be instances where some of the slaves come injured, some of them could be killed. The stronger slave gets higher price than the weaker slaves. The prices, like I mentioned, gunpowder, tobacco, schnapp, mirror clothing, a whole lot. Then they've been branded over here, where each slave master has a metal with a symbol on it. You dip it in a hot fire, then they are being branded at the back of the slave person. So we're going over there. But due to a successful trade, the Portuguese sold the castle back to the Danes again 4 years later. The Danes were in control of the castle again 10 years later. A Ghanaian tricked the Danes and they had control of the castle. Unfortunately, he had to sell the castle back to the Danes again a year later. The Danes were in control of the castle again, and the Danes were also the first Europeans to abolish the transportation of slave trade in the year 1803. The British also moved the capital city of Gold Coast from Cape Coast to Accra. So before our independence, Ghana wasn't called Ghana, it was called Gold Coast. And the capital city of Gold Coast was in Cape Coast. In 1877, the British moved the capital city of Gold Coast, from Cape Coast to Accra also. After we gained our independence on 6 March 1957, we became a republic. This very castle also became the presidency for the center of the government for our Ghanaian government also. If no question, please, we'll be going to the tangents from there. That was a water system that was built by Danish medical surgeon called Carl Gustav Engman.
What? Wait. John over there.
Carl Engman, he was brought here to take of the Danish governors. Okay. Most of them were falling sick. They were dying of malaria. The mosquitoes were killing them. But when he came, he realized that they had a problem with the water system. So what he did actually is the slaves to dig a well.
What? Oh, yes, sir.
Like you use
like
no,
like
they
money.
yeah,
Yes,
that's what
yes,
I'm
yes.
After the other, specify for us.
How the whole process was being done, the slaves were supposed to, let's say, be given probably a shovel or something. Even if you're trying to dig a hole with a shovel, it's difficult.
Yeah.
The slaves were not given a shovel, they were using rocks. Yes, actually dig this very hole. So students
Using rocks. 10 years.
Yes, 10 years how they dig this very hole.
My goodness.
After they dug the hole, it was the rainwater that is stored. It became the main water reservoir.
Wow.
Yes, but it's being a stagnant water produced more mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, yeah.
So yes, Carl Gustav Engman had to now import some neem trees and other trees also from India. We have some of the trees also in the garden. We all know neem trees is one of the best about medicine for malaria also. Yes. After the castle was sold to the British in the year 1815, they couldn't contain the mosquitoes, so they drained everything out. So now when we check, we wouldn't see any water in. After Carl Gustav Engman came, this became the main water system for the Danes also. They started in 1753 and they finished in 1763. After the castle was sold to the British painted the floor red, so for like a red carpet. The middle part of the staircase, that was where the fire dignitaries, when Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles, when they came, they all used the middle part, and the normal citizens were using both the left and the right. Also.
Oh, wow.
In the year 2008, our former president, John Kufuor, he finished building the current seat of the government, which is the Flagstaff House, and the presidency was moved to the Flagstaff House. By the year 2009, when our late president, John Nicholas, when he came, he was like, no, this very castle should still remain the presidency. So he moved it back to this very castle. Unfortunately, when he died in 2012, our vice president, who's also currently our president now, John Omani moved it back to the Flagstaff House in the year 2013. That's remained there ever since also. In Ghana also, every highest denomination of our currency, you always find the system of the government on that very currency. So in the year 2007, we changed our currency. Do you any of you have the 50 note with you? Okay. So in the year 2007, we changed our currency. The 50 note was our highest denomination, and because also the castle was the presidency, that is why we see the same staircase you see over here.
What's the staircase?
Yeah.
The same staircase. Yes.
Why is it?
Look at it here. On the left hand side.
This
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Oh wait. Oh.
And this is also the let's say.
Yeah, that one there.
Yes, that very beautiful.
Guys, that has been a brief history of the history that went down here.
Generation gets to stop. But mental health.
Like my mental health is digging a well for 10 years. That's crazy.
Let's have a look at the female dungeon photo.
All right.
Okay.
So where are we going to female dungeon first?
Yes.
All right. Alright, so we're heading to the female dungeon right now. And this looks scary.
Scary.
Oh my goodness. It's pretty dark here. I have to turn on my flash. This. Oh my days. Guys, can you see this? My goodness. This is where people were kept. On the I think you just recently they cemented here.
Yes. It was the best and
It was VSM before.
Wow.
each dungeon had 30 slaves. So 30 here.
30 here, 30 inside here.
The thing is, they were not even how can you see it? That's the thing.
You can't see
Yes,
it.
you can see it. Yes. They were just being kept here. And the longest period was 6 months.
Crazy.
Yes. Slave dungeon. Female slaves.
This has to be the most heartbreaking story I have ever vlogged. This is crazy.
That is the thing. Slavery was already. We all even Egyptians.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Let's go back to the
Moses,
Bible.
Yes.
In
There was
the
already
Bible,
slavery.
there's so-
That's why I
yeah.
mentioned that their slavery was more of like house helps.
Yeah.
Because their slavery during our ethnic group, you feed
Yeah.
them, you clothe them, you house them.
Yeah.
And the slave trade, the slave can also run away if you maltreat him. So the queen had to come to Ghana to hand over everything to him. Unfortunately, she couldn't come in 1960. She came in 1961. So before he visited, they had to prepare this room. Also proud to her stay. When she came, she spent about 11 days in Ghana. In the year 1977, her son, Prince Charles, now King Charles, also visited Ghana. One of our senior high school, Achimota teachers, we were having our 50th anniversary. He came for the ceremony. When he came, he also spent about 3 days in Ghana. So far, it's only the queen and the current king are the only two people who have actually spent time in this room or this bed also. Yes. The wardrobe we see, unless the furniture, the bed, the mattress, we see were all shipped from England before the queen's visit.
Was the light from that time or you guys installed the light?
Recent, yes.
So there was no light in the place. So when it's darkness, you will just keep in
No. There was also light, but yes, but this was also a lamp.
Oh, there's the lamp.
Yes.
So, you said how many years has this?
Since 1961, so I think I'll do the calculation right.
1961. guys.
Yes.
So guys, this is the point where you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am under the rain doing this vlog for you guys. Let's go.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. All right. So this is the chapel here. Then we had the slaves underneath
Yes.
this place.
Beneath was the
Beneath
dungeon.
was the dungeon.
Which dungeon?
The dungeon we just came out from.
The female dungeon?
Yes.
We're on the other side of the building.
We're on top of it. The
Oh my
dungeon
God,
is
so they were
down.
hearing them praise God.
Yes.
God will punish them.
The chapel that was built by the Portuguese in the year 1679.
The Portuguese that came after the gang.
Yes.
Right.
To the guard fort, which is now the official fort.
He jumped over. He swam.
Yes. The swam, yes, about 2 miles from here to the guard fort. But I mentioned that before ethnic group, so we were not one people. So during this time, slave trade was still going on. Yes. Because when he came, he only did things that favored his people, which was our common people. Yes, they were the ones that were only favored. Yes. In the year 1828, 4 missionaries came to this very land, and this was the same where the Presbyterian Church also started from in Ghana. That part was also built by the Danes in the year 1797. Yes. The floor of where the Queen's bedroom was and the land floor was built by the British in the year 1950. This whole block was also built by the British in the year 1921. The church, the chapel also by the Portuguese, also 1679. Several extensions, or how do you call it, the garden. The garden we see is a presidential garden. It wasn't back then a garden. Yes. So that was where those people were living. In the year, after the castle was sold to the British in the year 1852, the British introduced a poll tax ordinance where they started taxing those people for living in the garden.
What?
Those people also got angry that how can you, the foreigner, tax me for living in my own
own
land?
country.
Each time the British come into the castle, The Osu people was thrown stones at them. So in the year 1854, the British bombed most of the Osu people.
Whoa.
Yes. Yes. So they had to
In our own land.
move and run further into the Osu town. So now the ancestors that died in the hands of the British also.
So do they still do that till date?
Yes, so red, the blood, yellow, the minerals, green, the vegetation, and the black star hope of Africa. Because Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain our independence. Yes.
You guys didn't know that, but now you know.
Office of our late president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. He chose this office purposely for security reasons. He was a pilot himself, so in the middle of the garden. Now, it's very hard, difficult to actually see it, but normally we would have seen the helipad. Yes, so he parks his helicopter over there. So if there's a threat coming in, before they even get into the castle, he has already rushed down there, already in the air. They tried several times, but they never succeeded. Unfortunately, he died out of COVID in the year 2020. COVID. That's what they say, I know, right? He's the only president who has also served for the longest period of time, 19 years. 11 years as a military ruler and 8 years as a democratic president. His mom was a Voltairean and his dad was Scottish. From the period of 1981 to 1992, for the 11 years, and 1993 to 2001 for the 8 years also. So please, we'll go to the dungeons from here, then we finish at the door of no return.
Walking through its corridors, I couldn't help but reflect on the people who came before us, the challenges they endured, and the strength they found to keep moving forward. This wasn't just about learning history, it's about feeling it. The pain, the struggle, the hardship, the resilience in Africa can never be forgotten.
All right. So where we are was a male dungeon. Yes. Each dungeon had 60 slaves. 60, strong slaves here. The weaker slaves were also being kept over here. Yes. So they separated the stronger ones from the weaker ones. Yes. So definitely, probably the weaker ones might not also, some of them could be ill and all that also. So they might not, infect the stronger ones also. In as much as the Danes needed the slaves to take them to the Caribbean countries, they needed the slaves also to be weak. To be weak. Because you know that the black man is very strong. So they were the instance where the slaves would try to challenge them. So they were being fed once a day. And how they were being fed? Right from the top there, and they just drop the food on the floor. There were no 60 different food for 60 slaves. It was just one food and they had to fight for it. This was where they were supposed to ease themselves, so they used water to wash it away. But 60 slaves, there were shackles also in the dungeons. So there were instances where they normally ease themselves wherever they find themselves at. So imagine they drop the food on the floor, there's feces, urine, vomit. The women is even bad. Because of their menstrual period, it flow for the 5 days. Next month, it still flow again in the same. They were not giving any towel or any pad or anything. And they drop the food in the middle of all that. So due to this state, most of them died. Most of them also fell sick. The slaves that fell sick, what they do is that there was no proper treatment for them. They just send you outside, they allow the sun to burn you very warm. When the sun sets, they bring you back into the dungeon again. They believe the sun burn is just going to kill the germs on your body. When you die, they just throw your body also into the ocean. This was how they were also only getting ventilation, sunlight or fresh air.
So guys, that has been part of the history of the Osu Castle, and we are heading to the door of no return. I do not know how to feel after hearing all this, how humans can be very, very diabolical. It's crazy to see. All right, so we're heading towards we're heading to the door of no return. This is how so the slaves are with shackles on their hands and legs, and they walk down through the space to the door of no return. Now this is wild. Oh my goodness. It's crazy being locked up in a prison.
They made that pathway in the spiral form to control the movement of the slaves. To make sure that each slave at a time, and to also know the number of slaves that were coming out of the castle, each and every time also. Just like, all the castles, they all had a door of no return.
Yeah.
And as a slave, they're meant to come up to the door of no return, that is it. You never return back again. You don't see your family, you don't see your land, your identity, everything that is stripped away from you. You don't even own yourself no more. What they do is that they park their ship in the middle of the ocean. very far from here. So before also the ocean was way much closer. There were smaller boats, fishing boats that were just being parked in front of the door of no return. So they went to come out of the door of no return. They send the slaves into the smaller boats. Then they are being transported to the bigger ship. Now it feels like the ocean is quite full. So in an instance where they're trying to transport the slaves to the bigger ship, if the boat capsize, the slave master doesn't save the slaves. He saves himself and that is it. There were instances where also some of the slaves also wanted to escape because they were scared. Because imagine a slave from the north. Probably has not even seen an ocean before. So using the slave using the boat to transport him to the bigger ship, they were scared. They would want to escape. But there's an instance where they were being chained in group. If one slave wants to escape, there's no time to unchain a particular slave.
Sure.
They throw the whole group into the ocean.
Oh my goodness.
So even after surviving the dungeon, some of the slaves also died.
Died on the road.
I mentioned that in the year 1848, all the Europeans abolished slavery in this very land. In the year 1998, there was an activity, the year of emancipation, where 2 slaves that were taken out of the Osu Castle, their remains were brought back into the castle again, but not through the main gate, but through the door of no return. To signify that now the door of no return doesn't exist no more, but now it's the door of return. Which slaves have been able to return, regardless of them being dead, then there's no more door of no return, but now it is the door of return. I'm very sure you've all heard of that word, Dakwaba. What does Dakwaba mean?
Akwaba is welcome.
Welcome, then you see me that's it. Yes. The real meaning of Dakwaba means Akwaba or Akwanaba. Akwaba means you've gone and you've come back, or you went and you came back. When we go into the castle, someone can just tell us what Akwaba, in the sense that now there's something like what? Door of return.
It feels unreal that humans had to go through all this, our forefathers. It really feels unreal. First, how people could be very mean to others. That has been the tour so far at the Osu Castle. It's been amazing, it's been scary, it's been everything you can think of. So what are you guys going to do?
Please subscribe to his YouTube channel. Make sure you like.
I'm big up to our tour guide, an amazing guy.
And don't forget to comment.
Subscribe, thank you. What? No way, that's not happening, guys. Thank you so much.